Hello? Podcast? Hello? Are you there?
Hello, everybody.
Hey, welcome to the RIOT Podcast.
Thanks for listening today.
Today you get Brandon from Glasslands.
Yeah, and he tells us a bit about Mr. Creeps, the new song from Glasslands, and what maybe we could look forward to. You get it's secretive details.
Well, you know.
So you get some more information on that and what else they're going to do tour-wise.
So we get that. We also talk about, there's all kinds of stuff in here today. We talk about being banned from Fortnite forever.
And that, when it's your livelihood.
Superman the movie. Yes.
Actually, that's really fascinating. Not so much about Superman the movie.
Careful. Come on.
But it's more fascinating about how they're storing the originals for that movie and other movies, what they're going to be using for that.
It's a really fascinating idea that they've come up with.
It's neat.
So, let's see. There's that. We talk about Popeyes chicken again. It's election day today. Plus, there's a live Little Mermaid. I mean, there's just all kinds of cool stuff today. Right? Right. So you guys enjoyed today's podcast. Anything else you want to add?
Did you put the eye thing in there?
Oh, you mean the one where the woman has worms in her eyes?
Yeah, did you put that in there?
Yeah, it's in there.
Okay, well.
How could we leave that out?
I know, I feel like you guys need a heads up or an eye up.
Disturbing. Listen, you'll know that we're about to talk about it when I start asking Nikki how long it's been since she's had a nightmare.
That's when it's coming. Be prepared.
Just know that you found it.
Don't forget, you can check out RadioU or RadioU Riot, either of our Facebook pages. You can watch Brandon from Glasslands in studio with us. So the interview is located there. You should be following both those pages. You can even message us while you're there, too.
So we'd love to hear from you because that's what we do. We like people. We like talking.
Hopefully you enjoy the podcast today.
Bye, y'all.
Using advanced technology, we've digitized and transcoded Obadiah and Nikki into a purely digital format. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Nikki, I got to re-examine the whole system.
What do you mean?
I'm just not, it's not happening.
System meaning your schedule, your day.
Like the morning,
your
all
life,
of it.
Everything. What is it?
Like I got up this morning and made it to the gym. My headphones were dead.
Aww.
Can I just tell you, it was like the whole thing fell apart. I wandered
you
around
want to just
for
leave
a while,
at that point.
And then I went over and lifted for a little bit. I was like, at one point I was just sitting on a bench just like for a long time, just staring off into space. And I'm like, oh gosh, how long have I been doing this? How long have I been at this?
It's like when you're in the shower and you fall back asleep or you just doze off.
Yeah. And apparently music is the thing that keeps it going.
Yeah.
But just in general, I'm trying to accomplish a lot and I'm not organized enough. And we're going to have to come up with steps. Like at night, I got to start getting some stuff together for the morning.
Yeah, you have to. It makes it easier. I even put it in the car ahead of time.
See, it's not like I've never done those things. It's just at some point I quit. And I need to go back to doing them.
Yeah, sure. You should also put a pair of wired headphones as a backup in your bag.
It's my new bag.
Oh, it doesn't have it.
I used to have a pair of wired backup headphones. That's in my old bag.
Got to rebuild your bag.
Yeah, I thought I had, but apparently,
Well, it's like when you move, you just realize some things don't get moved over. You lose them in transition and stuff. And you're just figuring it out.
And when I get done, I'm like, I'm starving. And it's like, this happens every day. And you know that you're not prepared for it today as if you're surprised by it. I can't believe it's morning and I'm hungry.
What am I going to do?
Like, how did this happen?
Do other people feel hungry in the morning too?
What a weird thing. What do people do when they get hungry in the morning?
So you want a little bit more time to prepare in the evening so you're good to go in the morning. Is that what we're getting?
I just roll my eyes at myself. It's daily. They're like, wow, this is weird. I approached the noon hour and hunger strikes. What an interesting and new occurrence this is.
Is this weekends as well or just weekdays?
I don't know.
Mostly weekdays?
I don't know. I just feel like I keep rolling through life like acting surprised at things that happen every day and like being unprepared for them. And it's like, dude, just 5 minutes at night. Prepare yourself. Like, no.
I got it.
I'd rather sit there. And during the day, feel like I'm being pummeled in the head by the same thing every day. Like, oh, I don't know what to do.
Aww.
It's fine, though.
Well, you recognize what you want to change.
Yeah.
If you recognize it, that's the first step.
Yeah. I don't know if the people in the gym could see it this morning, but I felt like a lost child just wandering around.
Oh, that's how most people look.
I finally landed on an elliptical because I was like, you know what? At least here, you just have to keep going. Like, you don't have to think about it. Just keep your legs moving and exercise will happen.
Well, set a reminder. So each night it says, hey, get ready.
Get yourself together.
Get your stuff together and see how that goes.
Morning you is begging.
Because what you need is more reminders. That'll go well.
Yeah, it's great.
Are people really still listening to the Riot? You don't have work to do or laundry to fold or literally anything else to do? The Riot, Radio U.
You know what, Nikki? It looks like we found the thing I'm missing. You know, we were talking moments ago about, just needing...
You just have to have something to tie it all together.
Yeah.
No, you just need something to bring it all together. You have all the tools. You just need to bring it all together.
You know what it is? It's grit.
Is it?
I'm missing grit.
Didn't expect you to say grit.
I think that's what it is. Researchers have been looking at West Point military cadets, and they say that your GPA,
doesn't matter.
It's not a good indicator of how you're going to do. How you do in certain kinds of initiation. No. Were you the president of your class? No. Were you the captain of the football team? No.
What do you need to have then? Grit to make you
Here's what they did.
Successful?
Mm-hmm. They said that cadets with high grit scores were 54% more likely to complete initiation training and more likely to graduate in 4 years.
So what's a high grit score?
So
an HGS?
So they took in these cadets, and they're like, at the very beginning, they gave them questionnaires. So it's self-reported grit. You got to understand that. But they asked
so you can
them,
give or take some grit?
Maybe. They asked them questions such as, setbacks don't discourage me. And you would say true on a scale of 1 to 5.
Oh, I gotcha.
So they were basically saying your grit, like your willingness to tough it out no matter what, and like stick with it. You got grit, son.
And that'll help you?
They say that is the best indicator of success, not only of like graduating, but succeeding in the military.
I feel
Nikki?
I feel like the test needs to be not self-done, but a physical grit test to see if you can keep your grit up and succeed.
I don't know. This from Dr. Michael Matthews, a professor of engineering psychology at West Point, said, from my perspective as a military psychologist, it's apparent that looking at SAT scores, while useful in looking at who can excel and flourish, there are a lot of unexplained variables. And the concept of grit resonates among military circles because it gets at that attribute of someone who's willing to pursue a long-term difficult goal relentlessly.
Well, I remember like when you were in school, there's a lot of people who just did not test well. They could not do tests. And then unfortunately,
did they have grit?
Well, yeah, but unfortunately their teachers would always kind of,
Give up on them?
Yeah, really just bother them about it. And you're like, hey, this person just excels really well over here, though. They really do have grit, I guess would be the word. So maybe we don't have to worry as much about the other side.
A little more grit, they're saying. Well, they're saying that you should have both, but your grit takes your SAT and rams it somewhere.
So see how you do.
I don't know what all that means.
But we'll think about that now.
But if you feel like you got grit, maybe the military is for you.
No, I'm not sure. I don't think they want me.
You know what, Nikki, I'm going to be honest. I don't think that's a place that you would do well.
I don't think so either.
I don't think it is. And I feel like you could succeed almost anywhere. But I feel like that's a space that actually would not be real.
I just don't like to be told what to do. Yep. Deep down inside, I really have a problem with that. So that's just not for me, but I have still grit.
I feel like,
I might yell back or I'd cry, one or the other. I get very emotional.
So, and you know what? That's okay. It's not for everybody.
The Riot really wanted to do this live, but now they can play video games and eat rice cakes instead. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Let's talk about somebody that, if I was going to talk about him, I just have to call him Super.
But Superman?
Yeah, Superman.
Is there news?
There is. For Christmas last year, I got a wonderful, wonderful gift. And it was Superman the movie from 1970-something. in 4K.
Okay. Have you watched it?
Oh, yeah.
Or is it just something you wanted to own?
I've watched it twice. The restoration is just beautiful.
Is it?
Oh, it's fantastic. And anybody that wants to watch it, just come over.
He's
unannounced,
got it all the time.
Knock on the door, and right now we're on it. I will watch this 40-year-old movie with you.
Between
I love
that
it.
and Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan,
Yes,
I think
come
are the
on.
two movies you can come over anytime and watch.
I love Superman the movie. And you know what, Nikki? One of the things that we want to make sure is that Superman the movie is preserved for future generations.
Is it going into the vault?
Well, yes and no. Microsoft and Warner Brothers have come together to make a new piece of technology that's super enough to hold Superman.
What's it going to be?
No, actually, did you see anything about this yesterday?
I'm sorry to say, nothing sent me anything along these lines.
Okay, well, here's the idea. Right now, films in general you've got the negatives, but in a lot of cases, they have
the negatives.
The negative.
They do, don't they?
You're welcome, Nikki. You're welcome. So they've got the negatives from the films.
Okay.
And then you've got stuff that's shot completely on digital. So the digital stuff gets stored on hard drives. Well, Warner Brothers said that they basically replace all of their hard drives every 3 years. Mm-hmm. Because if they don't, there's a good chance it'll go bad and lose the film. So they have been working with Microsoft on a storage technology that would not degrade over time, that could be trusted to hold these old films. And they have come up with this.
What a weird thing they came up with.
This hard silica glass that they say could last up to 1,000 years.
It's really, it looks like a coaster.
It does.
But it's glass. It's glass storage.
The entire movie was stored on a coaster-sized square of glass that was 75 by 75 millimeters and 2 millimeters thick.
They say they've boiled it, baked it, scratched it, tested. It's just, you can't hurt it.
It's there.
It will preserve the data. See, this is where I feel like the future of our movie watching is going. If you needed a physical item,
yeah,
that looks like it. Like, hey, pass me the coaster. I want to watch the movie.
Well, and over time, you got to know that you're going to go from something that big to like something like that will hold 1,000 billion movies.
Yeah. So this research project they've been doing is Project Silica, and it's about storing and preserving data.
Mm-hmm. And they decided that the right thing to store first, the very first thing that needs to be stored, the very first thing that they need to save.
They have to save that one.
Is Christopher Reeve as Superman
or
in Superman the movie.
Was the movie that they were fine testing it with?
That's wrong.
In case something happens.
And it just had a beautiful 4K restoration, and they were probably like, we need to save this.
We can't let anything happen to it.
Because every time we put it out again, people are dumb enough to keep buying it. Save it.
If you just Google Project Silica with Warner Brothers and Microsoft, it's actually really interesting to look at.
It is. See? I like cool stuff sometimes.
Hey, this became cooler than I thought it was.
Yeah. Hear your judgment. I hear it.
I take it all back.
Speaking of the negative.
What?
Nothing.
Is it healthy eating so many snacks, chips, and Oreos every single morning? No, of course not. But they do it for you.
Too many guys got the stomach for this line of work.
That's real love. It's the Riot on RadioU.
Nikki, did you see the apology video from Jarvis?
From Jarvis?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the
He's a YouTube
Fortnite
creator
guy?
and FaZe clan member, Jarvis.
I did. I saw some of it.
Did you watch it?
Just a part of it.
Yeah, just the part where he's crying.
Yeah, actually, that's the part everybody was showing.
That's the only part.
I mean, you feel bad, but then, yeah, I'm sure he understood what he was doing.
The thing about it is that it was a non-competitive match. Okay, we didn't tell you guys what happened. So he was using an aimbot, and basically an aimbot makes you a crack shot.
Yeah.
When it comes to a game where
gives you an unfair advantage.
An unfair advantage in a game. It's cheating. And
he was doing videos on it.
Yes. He's doing videos of him using that in non-competitive matches, and it's quote-unquote illegal as far as the game is concerned. And so he goes public with these videos, and Epic, the owners of Fortnite, have given him a lifetime ban.
You must have done something really bad when you're promoting. I mean, you're promoting their game.
Yeah.
So to do normally you'd get like a suspension. So a few years or a few months or something. A lifetime ban, I thought, was quite drastic. But that's what they say will happen if you do that.
They say cheating, ban hammer. That's what happens.
Well,
you're out.
That's the big ban, the hammer there, because that's it.
The thing that's fascinating to me is that just the idea that this guy's livelihood is tied up in playing this game. And, he's got 2 million followers or something like that. And on the one hand, maybe this is going to be great for his career because everyone has seen him now. But the problem is they've all seen him crying.
Well, I'd be crying, too, if I'm crying over the money at that point.
Oh, let me tell you what, right now.
That literally is your job, and you're no longer able to play your job.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem. So he's going to be like, no, Apex Legends is the best.
So he cannot play Fortnite on any device with his user information.
Right. That's right. Now, he could start up another account and start playing, but if they see him playing online, which is the whole point,
which is where
they'll just go and block that account too.
He's getting the money. He has to switch to a new game or figure something out.
Crazy. And just the idea, there's such finality to it. It is such like with your mom, you could beg and plead, and over time, eventually she might give up.
She lets it go, yeah. Like she's harsh in the beginning, and then it evens and works itself out.
Epic is just like, nah.
You're not playing anymore.
You're out. We are going to take our ball and go home. And it's like, well, bring it back. No.
We don't hear no a lot nowadays.
No, we don't.
And not no, and this is forever.
And the other thing, too, is well, we'll get it to an appeals court. There's no appeals court. This isn't law. You don't have a legal right to play Fortnite. Wow.
So the guy on YouTube, he'll have to find another game to play, which might be he can use this right now.
You got to spin it, Nikki.
He has to just go right on into a new game.
Immediately.
Rebuild that back up and before it dies down too much and then he starts losing followers.
Come on. You know what? Let's get him on the phone. Nikki is life coaching you back to success.
You can do this. This doesn't define you.
It does not define you.
You are not Fortnite. You can be something else.
Fortnite is a game, and you are Jarvis.
And
dang it.
You know what? I bet you were tired of just being Fortnite. Now you can try some other stuff.
Now we're going to expand. We're going to move on. It doesn't matter that Fortnite's still the most popular and the thing everyone wants to watch. It's fine.
You're going to have to try something new. Yeah!
You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
You find yourself feeling like the internet is a dark, scary place. You're right. I'm reading an article here on The Verge. It's fascinating. There's a company called Cognizant, who I've never heard of. I don't pay attention to these kinds of things, which maybe makes this all the more fascinating. They are getting ready to lay off 6,000 people between now and March of next year. The reason is that they are slowly but surely getting out of the content moderation business.
What does that mean?
It means that their job was a company would, let's say RadioU.com allowed public comments. Then it would be the job of Cognizant to come in and moderate the comments.
So a company, a larger one, will hire them to moderate for them?
That's right. So apparently, and we don't know how much they did this, but Cognizant had a contract with Twitter and was doing content moderation for Twitter. But they wrote an article, this I actually remember reading from February of earlier this year, where basically the people that are responsible for content moderation on the internet are slowly going mad.
Oh, it's a lot, because usually if something's being moderated, it's not going to be the nicest.
No, they say that they've had employees that are being treated for PTSD because of the constant daily exposure to
abuse,
graphic content. Others said that they feel like in some ways they've lost touch with reality because after being constantly exposed to the fringe of what you find online, that they've began embracing what they called radical extremist viewpoints from all of the content that they've consumed.
If all you see is such negative stuff, I mean, that is tough. And I do remember talking about the people in those positions.
Right.
So what would you do then? Rotate everybody?
I don't know. like, I have no idea, but I know this, that they're saying like, hey, we're starting the process of pulling out of this. Now, the guy on The Verge is reporting on the news, but then he kind of editorializes and basically says, hey, even though they're not willing to come out and say this, what it comes down to is content moderation is an unbelievably hard job because people are crazy on the webs.
It's almost like you need to get a machine behind that, not people.
Well, that's one of the things they talk about is that
that's probably the only way you can do that.
They're continuing to look into AI and algorithms and et cetera, et cetera. But here's another thing to think about. Like, all right, this is where sci-fi gets great. Dude, here's the story. Like, maybe this ties into the Terminator. I don't know. But, like, we continue to work on AI to moderate our content.
Yeah.
But what if the AI goes mad when it looks at our extreme content? Because they can't
handle it either.
And the AI finally decides that humanity needs wiped out because it constantly has to stare at the worst of humanity.
Don't say that because it actually sounds believable. Don't say that.
Whoa.
But yet human beings can't handle that job. That is a job that's perfect for AI to go to.
Mm-hmm. Right. And then they build...
And something happens.
Little robots that it's their job to infiltrate human society. And
it's sad to hear about, obviously, the layoffs that will happen. But, I mean, for people... I don't know if you could handle that job.
I could not. I already know I couldn't. Like,
you would internalize it.
Nikki and I stare at the stuff that's been moderated all day, and it disturbs me.
It's even still bad.
It disturbs me. And so the idea of going into an unfiltered space, oh gosh. Man, come on.
You're listening to The Riot. Let's all work together today to live life with the patience of a Nikki dealing with an Obadiah.
Gotta hang in there and get through it.
You're listening to The Riot.
Yeah, Nikki, you didn't forget, did you?
Did I forget about what? Whoa!
Your civic duty?
Oh, yeah, it's voting today.
Today's election day, Nikki.
It is.
So you got to get out there and
read
vote.
The signs, man. All the signs out there.
I got to tell you, I forgot to do my research.
So you can do that earlier on. No one needs to panic. Everything's fine.
Because, I'm going to go vote today, but I don't know.
You're going to need to take some time to look it up before you get there.
Who's running?
So you can be informed.
Am I supposed to vote for Trump, against Trump?
That's not this one.
Is Hillary in it?
It's not this.
I heard Biden was back.
That's not this one.
It isn't.
It's not
That's
this
next
one.
year.
It takes a little bit of that off.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. So, wait, elections 2018? It's 2019, isn't it?
I think you found yourself onto the wrong site, haven't you? Can you imagine you do all this work and you don't even pay attention? It's those little details that'll trip you up.
What the heck?
You go ask for help. You're like, wait, I don't see anybody on this.
What is this? So, yeah, today is election day. And this is, I will tell you, this. You've probably heard me say this or not, but today is one of those election days where we always get focused on the president. And I get that. I'm not saying it's not important, but the people that can really put the screws to you are the local people. So you really, I know nobody wants to. It's like work and it's boring. But you should really pay attention to what gets on today's ballot.
Because they try to sneak a lot of things through. Or it's a good time to get something passed.
It is.
Depends on which way you want it, but it can happen in today's that day.
What you need to do is you need to find out, because this is the stuff where they hit you with like some kind of a local tax, and all of a sudden your paycheck is smaller, and you're like, what happened? You're like, oh, remember when you didn't go vote for the thing?
Now, Angela just texted. She said no one in her area was running like opposed to the person, so she didn't have to do too much research.
So is it a yes or no vote?
I guess.
Is that a thing?
Well, there's not only, just the people, but if there's, other stuff going on.
Yeah.
That's a yes or a no.
And to be clear, I'm not going to say that like I'm in favor or against a school levy, but I watched, real talk, where I lived, there was a school levy and it missed by 6 votes.
Really? That's so close. Like too close to where you could probably fight that.
Well, I know, but no. That's the election. But what I'm saying is that, again, on a national scale, I mean, you know what the Electoral College is, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of times I feel like I'm in there voting and I'm like, you guys aren't counting this.
It doesn't matter.
But on local stuff, which is
matter.
the stuff that's happening today, like, man, your vote, I don't know. To me, it's just burned in my brain when I remember looking at those election votes, and it was like, wait, what? You're telling me that few of a people like made that big of a difference? So might be worth it too. I don't advocate blind voting, just going in and voting and like, you don't know and whatever. But man, take 15 or 20 minutes today. Do a little research.
Make sure it's the right year's research.
The right year. It's 2019. Find out what the heck is going on in your area and go exercise your civic rights. Like, go vote today and see.
Go around lunchtime. You know, normally some of the places have food.
Yeah.
Grab a little hot dog, some cookies. Vote, then get on out there.
They never have anything in my precinct.
Dude, ours, it's like a buffet,
Well,
practically.
good for you.
I'm surprised you don't have like a Sunday bar.
I got nothing.
You don't get anything at all?
Nothing. I get a sticker.
Aw, where do you vote at like a...
It's a church.
It's a church?
Yeah.
Oh, normally the churches are the ones that do all the food.
Nope, they got nothing.
Well, they should change that up.
The other thing that's funny is like you'll see people that you live near when you go because that's how they break it up. I always think it's weird when I walk in and I'm like, what are you doing here? Oh, we live in the same place. Okay.
We're voting.
Yeah.
It was bad enough the first time around, but now it's worse. Don't believe us? Just keep listening. You'll find out soon enough. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Nikki, did you see what's going on at Popeyes right now?
A lot. But I don't quite, like, I haven't seen it all put together. I just know bits and pieces from some of the drama.
So here's what I was looking at. I thought things were just, okay, no, let me start over. I thought everything was fine. We came in yesterday morning. Sunday was the day that the chicken sandwich came back.
But there were some locations it seemed like did not still get it, or there was still issues with it, or it was gone or whatever, because people are going to different locations and being mad because it's still not there or it's gone for the day.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, there's that.
Yeah.
I just thought, this time around, it's going to be fine because the furor has died down. Like, it's been weeks. Nobody
it's
really.
Been months.
No, months?
Hasn't it been months?
I don't know. Nobody cares that much anymore. It was a flash in the pan. It's done. No big deal. Didn't even see a lot about it yesterday when Nikki and I were in here doing the show. But yesterday throughout the day, it's like the reports started to roll in. And we really started to see. I got 2 men in Florida in a drive-thru that are outside of their cars, like just punching each other.
Fighting.
This is about a chicken sandwich, okay? Here's another one. Edgewood, Maryland, Sunday night. Fight between several people in the drive-thru. Harlem, New York, a location screamed at staff because they felt they were taking too long on his order for 10 chicken sandwiches. Got video of that. In a Tallahassee Popeyes, we've got the staff turned against each other and ended up outside in the parking lot fighting. A lot of fighting.
I see that seems to be the common thing.
Over the chicken sandwich. Then there was a Popeyes in Union Park, Florida. Some people were pushing their car through the drive-thru to get the chicken because I guess their car had quit on them.
Because they're waiting so long?
They wouldn't let them. Like, they wanted to still go through the drive-thru, so they were pushing the car through the drive-thru.
If you've been waiting long enough, you don't want to get out of line again.
So, you
there's a lot. It's
weird. You got to do what you got to do.
Well, you don't have to do any of this. You don't have to do any of this. You don't have to go eat the sandwich.
So, a Popeyes rep said that the response has been extraordinary and unprecedented. I would say that they can't say unprecedented. This happened last time. What?
They're happy about it, I'm sure.
I don't know if they are.
Well, why wouldn't they be? People want something from their locations.
But didn't you have a news story that said a guy got stabbed?
And he died.
What the what?
Yeah, there was a fight. I think it was also in Maryland, and there was a fight over two people, and they were waiting in line for it, and they got in a fight, and someone stabbed the person.
Stabbed to death over a chicken sandwich.
Now that they're not obviously happy about, and I don't think they're happy about the fighting, but they are happy that people are wanting it again.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I wonder if, and I'm completely serious about this, at corporate, do they feel some level of responsibility where they're just like, man, we're just trying to get these chicken sandwiches out, and it's crazy out there.
I wonder how the communication is between because it's franchises, right? So
I guess
like for the people who manage the stores, I wonder how it is. Because it seemed like the last time they were almost just left out there to fend for themselves and fight off the people when they didn't have any chicken left.
Man, I'll tell you what, if I was a Popeyes manager, I would just straight up been like, we're closed on Sunday.
Now. Well,
we're closed this Sunday. But the chicken sandwich comes back. Yep, we're closed that day.
We're not able to do it.
We're closed that day. We'll see you guys on Tuesday. We're taking Sunday and Monday off.
We can all wait in line. We can be patient, but we don't need to go fighting in line.
Well, apparently you're not getting a sandwich, Nikki.
It seems like no one is doing that, though.
You're not getting one.
The Riot is to your ears what all those energy drinks are to your liver.
For the love of God, please stop. I can only process so much.
The Riot, Radio U.
So it looks like, what do you got here, Nikki? The Browns
What about?
had a little problem
with
some cleats.
Yeah, it just seems like
That's probably why they keep losing.
Well, no, a couple of cleats have been causing problems. For the NFL, there's a dress code, so they're not really supposed to wear colorful shoes like cleats and stuff. But Odell Beckham, he got in trouble for Joker cleats.
Yeah.
And someone else had violated the code.
Joke's on you, Joker.
With speaking of Popeyes chicken, it was Popeyes chicken cleats. So they were orange and stuff, promoting it. So
Really?
a few players have been doing that and getting in trouble.
So here's what they're allowed to do. They're allowed to wear black cleats, white cleats, or a mixture of black, white, and their quote-unquote constitutional color. And you're like, wait, constitutional color? You talking the red, white, and blue? No. That means
the
that
team's colors
is their team's main color. Okay? So
I want to be there if a player fights that. It's like, it's in my
I'll tell you about
rights
the Constitution
to have these colors on my shoes.
I will bleed on the flag to keep the stripes red, son. So that's
not it. It's the team colors.
Yeah. And those were not the team colors.
So players usually say, like Beckham said, like, when I have these on my feet, they could be pink, lime green. It's never going to affect me. It's not something that, they're worried about.
Right.
But the league itself doesn't want the distraction from the cleats being too out there.
It amazes me that you go all the way to the NFL and you're still fighting dress code violations.
That'll never end.
I mean, like, it's like you're in school. You're like, look, we told you that you're not allowed to wear this. Or you're not allowed to have your hair like that, whatever.
Well, isn't it also like the message? Like, you're not allowed to really have too much of a message on them because you're in front of a lot of eyeballs, and that's approving something that you're putting on your feet, but the league itself might not feel the same way.
Nikki, there's no I in team. Okay? And when you're on that field, you're part of the team. Both your particular franchise and the NFL as a whole. And
Really?
So if you're going to sign a contract with this organization, I'm going to need you to get on board with team.
With what we're allowed to do and what we can and cannot.
And son, when you're wearing Joker cleats, that's trying to put an I in team, and that's teamy.
So
and that's not what we are around
the
here.
The Joker cleats, a lot of people just said they looked ugly. So that was
also true.
That was also
true.
The main problem a lot of people had with them.
Well, whatever. Nikki, after a while, you know what it is? You got somebody's like, I'm tired of looking like everybody else. I don't like uniforms. You're like, a uniform means one form. We all look the same.
Depending on how you look at the Joker cleats, it looks like water got on them and everything just started to melt away. How's that look?
It's true.
So he had to change.
Yeah. So go Browns, right? Or don't go Browns.
Whatever. You don't want to choose sides.
Well, you know what? I will say, as far as the NFL is concerned, if there's one team that I often find myself taking to the Super Bowl.
Stop it. Stop it.
What?
I know what you're doing.
What?
That's not about football. That's about the bathroom.
Are you sure?
They even make morning people want to reach for the snooze button. It's the worst of the Riot on Radio U.
What's your plans for tonight, Nikki?
Don't know.
Wrong!
Is that the wrong answer?
You already have plans.
What do I have plans for tonight? Well, don't be rolling your head. I don't remember.
Nikki, that was a triple roll. Each eye plus my head.
It was everything.
See all those rolls?
Is it because of the voting stuff, or what else are we supposed to do today?
Nikki, don't forget your snarf blat.
What's my snarf blat?
Your dingle hopper.
Dingle? No, okay, wait. The live Little Mermaid thing.
Thank you.
Okay, now I got it.
Thank you.
I have never seen a network's live production of like a musical, and I don't know how those go.
Oh, you haven't watched any of them at all?
I've not watched any of it.
I watched part of...
Just the bad reviews the following day.
Everybody always hates them. I can't remember. I never watched like an entire one, but I almost always poke my head in for a couple of minutes. I'm fascinated by live productions, though I would way rather spend time. I would love to sit in the room, like the production hub, the production
studio.
studio.
How it actually is.
I'd love to watch them producing it behind the scenes. That'd be way more interesting than the show itself. But I always kind of want to see it. And I watched the first hour of the Christmas store. Is that what it's called? Great. On the spot. This Red Ryder BB gun. Isn't that a Christmas story?
Yeah, a Christmas story.
Okay, yeah.
They did one of those live?
You remember that, right? That was last year.
No,
Fox did it. It was a 3-hour live musical. And I was like, oh, I love that movie. And that's when you discover that.
Well, you like the movie that's done.
Yeah. The movie is like 85 minutes. The musicals, I was done.
It should really only be like an hour. Even still time for commercials. But that's about all you need.
Yep. Tonight, though.
Is the Little Mermaid one?
8 p.m. Eastern. I don't know what it's like in other time zones. The Little Mermaid live. Queen Latifah's in it. Shaggy is back.
A little trouble with it, but that's fine.
Ollie Carvalho, she's known for, she was the voice of Moana.
She's Ariel?
She is playing Ariel. That's really cool. I'm not.
You're just being nice. And that's great of you. I mean, it should be something.
I mean, the funny thing is, like, of all the Disney properties, that's probably the one I like the most.
Little Mermaid?
I love The Little Mermaid. It's awesome.
Now, this is not the live action one that's being done. That's an actual movie. This is just a live TV production of it.
Right. And I would assume, did they ever do like a Broadway Little Mermaid? Because there are Broadway shows of The Lion King and
The Lion King.
Frozen.
Frozen.
Yeah, Frozen. And I can't remember what else they've done, but like, did they do a live Broadway Little Mermaid?
Not sure.
Really not keeping up on that, huh?
No, I don't.
Not really your thing?
It's not really what I've been trying to learn. I don't want to go online and search and get all this information.
Or have it start popping up in your ads on the side because you searched for it.
We found another. She loves Little Mermaid.
Yeah. Hey, I hear you.
If anybody watches it tonight, let us know how it actually is.
Yeah.
How long does it say it's supposed to be on?
It doesn't. You know what, Nikki? I'm going to log into YouTube TV and see.
See what it says.
The only morning show brave enough to say that Chicken McNuggets are part of a balanced breakfast. The Riot on RadioU.
Had a lot of NFL news today, Nikki.
There is a lot.
Yeah, did you hear about the cat?
I did. I actually watched a clip of it. Of course I would know about this.
It was on every TV in the gym this morning.
I loved it.
So there was a cat that was on the field last night at the Cowboys-Giants game. And they had to delay the game.
But he scored a touchdown. Well, I mean, not really, but in our hearts he did.
A touchdown in our hearts, Mr. Cat. So they ended up having to bring in New Jersey State troopers who shot the cat. And the game was...
No, they didn't. No, someone is going to adopt this cat. It's going to be a very well-known cat. I see a whole social media career. They didn't do that.
What? You don't think so?
No.
It would have been awesome if they did. Just,
What's wrong with you?
A cop just walks out and shoots the cat and picks it up and walks off the field.
And everybody just gets quiet.
Everyone's like, oh!
That is terrible.
Shut up, you're next!
What's wrong with you today? What is that? It's just a cat gone on the field during the football game. Why'd you have to take it to that? Now that's what we remember. Not this heartwarming story of a fun cat.
The most disturbing thing you've ever seen.
Yes, pretty much. much.
What? It's just a cat?
No, it's... Man, I'm sorry, everybody.
No.
I'm sorry for
I'm
what
not
he
saying
said.
I would say that. That's what the mean state trooper, who didn't do anything, by the way.
No one did that.
They just herded the cat towards the end zone, and someone grabbed it. And, of course, I don't know what's going to happen to the cat now.
I'm sure, like we said, it would go to a shelter and someone will adopt it.
Oh, that hurts. That cat spent more time in the end zone than the Jets.
Of course. Of course, it has to go that level, right?
Pretty great.
If you watch it, it's trending. You can see a video of it.
Here's somebody taking a picture. Here's my cat watching the cat on the field. That's pretty great. So, yeah, they got him. And you know what? If they're smart, the team should adopt him and do something with it. So, like, this is our unofficial mascot, the something cat.
Or at least someone in the organization should adopt the cat.
Yeah, it could be the house cat. But it's a big house because, it's a stadium.
Oh, I do see it's trending. That's if you want to get on board with that, there's probably still a little time this morning before you go do anything else. Get your pet to get in front of the TV, watching the cat going across the field. Take a picture of it and send that out.
It's pretty funny.
If it's louder than it has to be and way worse than it has any right to be, it must be the worst of the riot. On Radio U.
It is the Riot on Radio U.
Yay!
Very special guest, ladies and gentlemen, Brandon of Glasslands.
Hello.
Hello,
sir.
Thank you for coming in today.
Yeah.
You seem very awake.
Yes, I woke up many hours ago and
To get prepared.
Yeah.
Prepared thoroughly for this.
Exercise, breakfast,
Yeah, I
journaling.
I ran a 5K this morning backwards.
Excellent, dude.
Yeah.
Excellent.
We
See,
don't even prepare that way.
The thing is, like, running backwards like that actually prepares you mentally and physically because you're having to think about every single step that you're taking.
This should be good then. This should be the best ever.
So, Brandon, you know what? The last time we saw you, you were going to get married. You were going to do a lot of things, but now you're a married man.
Yes, I am. Well, it doesn't look like it. I lost my ring.
Already?
And how is that going for you?
Good. Well, I've lost it like 4 or 5 times, but this one's like for real lost. It's like in Nashville, I think.
Okay. So like it's probably not coming back.
Yeah, it was at a gas station. I was like washing my hands and took it off. And then we were about an hour down the road and I was like, oh
no. So have you moved on? Because I know some guys, or especially like guys who like lift weights and do like the rubber type rings or the ones that are just not very expensive.
Yeah, well,
but
mine
still look
originally was not expensive because I knew I was probably going to lose it.
What was going to happen?
Yeah, so I'm thinking about getting like 4 or 5 of them, kind of get some backups, like leave one in my car, leave one at home, you know?
You should find if one comes in like a 5-pack or something. Yeah, that way they always look the same, but it's just not the one.
Isn't it like, is it titanium or something like that?
I always know them as like the tungsten. I think that's
what
the name
it is.
of it.
That's
Those
what
are the
it is.
ones.
That's what it is.
Most guys I know wear those.
Yep.
Okay, so how did the wife react to the first loss?
She just made fun of me.
Well, see there, she's being supportive at least, all right?
She's just
not
like,
mad. She understands.
I knew what I was getting into
Yeah.
when I signed up.
Yep,
I
basically.
knew what's going on. So, man, other than that, how are you? I see you tweeting a lot about game streaming. How's the stream going?
Fun.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What are you streaming these days?
Well, I mean, anything. The new Call of Duty is fun to play. It's kind of chaotic right now. There's a game called Teamfight Tactics that I'm playing. The Riot that came out with League of Legends, they have a bunch of games that are coming out I'm really excited about. There's like, first-person shooters and stuff like that. So
That's cool.
Do you stream on Twitch or what do you do? Okay, Twitch.
Yeah. And what about that Overwatch 2 announcement?
Yeah. I kind of teared up at that cinematic that came out.
Yeah?
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, dude, so that means
But not when you lost your rings.
No.
Just so we know where we're at.
We're just having some honesty
Because
this
one
morning,
was
Nikki. It's
very
just a little
cinematic.
honesty.
You're right.
Well, I've teared up in gas station bathrooms, but for different reasons.
It's not just because you left something there.
I think we could all appreciate that.
Who hasn't done that?
Yeah.
Actually, mostly when you walk in it for the first second. That's when you start tearing up.
Why is it so bad?
What's wrong with this place? Oh, I found a ring.
Things are looking up, man.
They're
I
not
just
so
found
bad.
a ring.
Not so bad when you leave.
Well, we're talking to Brandon from Glasslands. Now, you guys have got a new single.
Yes.
So what's new with the
Creeps.
band? Who is Mr. Creeps? Who's it based on? Is it you?
We don't really know him that well yet. He just kind of showed up. We were in the studio recording, and the album was going to go a different way, and then he kind of showed up, and we didn't really know much about him. And then he started explaining himself to us, and then he kind of helped us create that song. Mm-hmm. So we're like, okay, cool. And then he left.
And that was it.
Yeah, and then he came back, and we're like, oh, okay, so this is going to be a normal thing, I guess.
You're just going to keep coming back, aren't you?
That's actually where Josh and Jordan is right now. They're with him.
Really?
Yeah, that's why they can't be here right now.
Well, you got to keep him, fed? Happy?
I don't think he eats.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, you know what? I'm sorry, topic change. But given the option, would you not eat if you could live without eating?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Or do you just enjoy eating too much?
I hate eating food.
You do? Oh, why?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can be in here then. What are you doing?
Well, it's not like, I hate food. You have to go out, you have to pick it, you have to pay for it.
Sure, you
it's
have to put it together.
Cook it, then there's trash.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hate paying for things that you have to have, like water.
But if you could have just like all your day's food in like a pill or a bar, then that would be so much more convenient.
Oh, yeah.
I think you could probably get me to sign up for that.
No, the second the chicken fingers make a return, you'd be like, I miss the chicken fingers.
We should go get chicken fingers.
What if the pill tastes like chicken fingers?
Ooh, you could set the pill to taste like whatever you wanted for food that day.
I don't know. If you could just tell me that I just didn't have to think about it anymore.
I knew it would be better.
I think I could probably go for it. I really do. So, Mr. Creeps and the guys are out with him right now in an undisclosed location.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out where he's from.
Okay. He doesn't talk a lot.
No, he like speaks in like weird cryptic things.
Yeah, sure.
You always have to figure it out. But he just kept saying that like in 2 weeks we'll find out.
Ooh. It's a mystery.
Yeah.
We'll find out more about Mr. Creeps in a couple of weeks.
So are we talking about your show in Columbus? Is that where we find out more?
No, because that's what I thought too. And he was like, no, before that.
It'd be something else.
Before that.
Well, for those for RadioU Ohio, Glasslands will be performing at the Basement, and that is on November 16th. But now that we know there's going to be other news coming before then for whatever's coming up.
All right, Brandon, anything else Glasslands related we should know? Anything else Brandon related we should know?
That's that's better.
Anything Brandon related?
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to figure out this whole Creeps thing.
Yeah.
Because I like this kind of stuff, like solving mysteries.
It's a mystery.
Yeah.
Wait, are there clues anywhere that we could be looking? Are we not?
Yeah, there are.
He's being too secretive. Is it on
Give
Twitter?
me
Is it on
like
Facebook?
Just a little bit more than that.
Where can we go for more clues as we follow along with this mystery?
If you go to our website, I know you type in our website address, which I don't know what it is.
Okay, I'm Googling it right now. Glasslands band. Here we go. Glasslands.co.
Yes.
Okay, here we are.
And then /Creeps.
Ooh.
Okay.
Then we can see something. There's a clue there.
Creeps. Okay. What do we got? Oh, there. What?
There's something there.
That's cool.
So you guys should go check that out.
There is something here, Nikki. What? I didn't know there was really something there.
There really is something there.
Dude.
So wait, it's /Creeps?
Yeah.
That's what they do? Okay. So if you go to the Glasslands website, /Creeps, you'll see it there.
I thought he was just screwing with us,
there's
Nikki.
something there.
There's really something there.
There really is something there.
Dude, your Tuesday just got booked. It just got booked.
You have to go look it out. We'll post a link to it on our Facebook page. So if you go to RadioU Riot on Facebook, we'll post a link there so you can check it out. And then stay in touch with Glasslands over the next couple of weeks for more things on Mr. Creeps.
What? You need to look at that, dude.
I will. I'll look at it.
All right. Well, Brandon, thanks for hanging out with us. I'd say goodbye to you, but
You're too now shocked from that.
I got a thing here.
Well, don't forget to check out RadioU for more information on especially the November 16th show at the Basement for RadioU Ohio if you're interested in seeing Glasslands perform.
Maybe the Riot would sound better if they spent less time improving their lives at their gym. That was sarcasm. It's the Riot on RadioU.
Nikki, you know what? I wish we had some other friends that also did morning shows.
What do you mean?
Well, because I would like to hang out with a group of people that do what we do, and I would like to find out stuff like, well, what time do you guys get out of bed?
Possibly might call it a support group.
Maybe.
Group of friends.
Do you find your mind wandering in the middle of your show? Do you sometimes have a hard time paying attention?
Do you, when your show is going on, get hungry and hungrier?
Do you find yourself just constantly thinking about food? What about naps? Do you take naps? Do you think about naps? Do you plan naps? Do naps just happen?
I don't know.
Do you lay on the floor in the studio in between talk times?
It's unnecessary, but I do find that, between morning shows, sometimes there's competition, so I don't know if everybody becomes friends. So we could bring everybody together.
No, that's why we have to get friends in other markets.
Oh, cities and states.
I got a chance to meet the number one rated morning guy in our home city. And he
yourself?
No.
I'm just teasing.
It was kind of a bummer. He didn't know who I was. I was like, "Oh, it's so cool to meet you." And he's like, yeah.
Well, he has to act that way.
He was cooler than I was. I'll give him that. I'm just like, hey, you make in a year what I make in 20. Fist bump.
Well, it's fine.
And we do the same thing. You actually do less work than me because you have a whole support staff.
You wouldn't like it that way.
No, I wouldn't.
No, you like how it is.
I like laying on the floor in between, like during the music.
That brings a realism that you're just not seeing from other radio stations.
Radio Verita.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you're right. I would just like to know, though, because there are times when I wonder, do I have a problem or is this normal for this occupation?
That's a good question. Well, we're
and
both
I don't
in
want
it.
to know your answers.
Well, yeah.
Because I already know your answers. Nikki comes in and somehow is super organized, is bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and manages to get everything done.
But that's not maybe how it is on the inside.
Maybe
I just
not.
make it seem that way on the outside.
She projects power,
success,
and control, and composure, and all of those kinds of things. And I go home and I'm like, how does she do it?
What is this?
I don't think I even want to know.
You don't want to live that way.
No, I guess not.
We're all different. We all have our good strengths and weaknesses, or not weakness. It's not a weakness. It's just an area that maybe you feel like you should be growing.
All right. Well, when I get to my strengths, I'll let you know.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
I can't remember. I had Professor Lincoln Stevens. Dr. Lincoln Stevens.
That's quite a name.
Dude, I love that guy. He taught, I took so many classes from him in college. I had a philosophy minor. It was originally a major, and I wanted to get out in 4 years, and so I made it a minor and went with communications. But he was, even though I was in the comm department, he remained my advisor and all this stuff. And one of the things we did, and I can't remember if it was in senior colloque or in an actual philosophy class, but we watched Cool Hand Luke. Have you ever seen that?
Is that the car one or the Western one? Or neither? I don't know. What's the car one with the big car chase scene that everybody's
that's
like?
Bullet with Steve McQueen.
That's Bullet. Cool Hand Luke was a band we used to play a long time ago.
That's true. You're right.
I can't recall. I feel like it's a Western, but I think I'm wrong.
It's not a Western.
Not a Western?
You're thinking about Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Maybe. I've not seen that either.
Which stars Paul Newman. Paul Newman is in Cool Hand Luke, which came out in 1967. But it was part of our, we had to watch this movie.
Yeah.
And discuss it. And we had to come on. It was fascinating. We just talked about the movie, but then we also had to write papers about it. And I wrote a paper about a Marxist interpretation of Cool Hand Luke.
Wouldn't you like to find that now?
It was my interpretation. I was like, yeah, this is Marxism. That's what this is about. But, okay, in this movie, right, this guy's like, hey, I can eat 50 eggs. And he makes this thing about how he can eat 50 eggs, and he does. He eats 50 eggs.
Hard-boiled eggs or
yes,
scrambled, an omelet?
Hard-boiled.
I need the picture in my mind.
Well, there you go. Well, this 50 eggs thing.
Yeah. Is that a challenge?
Somebody did it for real, and it killed them.
No, really? Or it really killed them?
No, yes.
Oh, man.
Subhash Yadav, 42 years old. He's from India. He died yesterday, and it was because how many did he eat? He was doing this 50 egg challenge, and he let's see, what did he get to? 42 eggs, and he lost consciousness. And then they took him to the clinic, a local clinic, where he never regained consciousness and died.
Oh, I've never heard of the challenge before, so I don't have others done it and been just fine, or was there something that was just wrong?
I don't
with
know.
him at that time.
I don't know. I think it's probably just you're too full.
Can you eat 50 eggs, or has others successfully done it?
I don't know the answer to that. I just know that when I saw this, I was like, wait, 50 eggs?
And you remembered it from the movie?
That's the thing from the movie.
Never heard of it.
It's an older movie. Here's the thing, though. This guy, they do this bet. He basically bet him $30 that he couldn't eat 50 eggs. And he's like...
The real life guy or the...
This is the real life guy.
The real life guy.
They probably had some kind of thing in the movie, too, but I don't remember what.
Hey, when in doubt, don't do it. Just say no. You'd be like, if you don't want to be uncool, be like, my mom won't let me do it. Be like, Nikki and Obadiah won't let me do it. Just say no to that.
Just to be clear, I love what you're saying right there.
Yeah, we'll take the brunt of that.
Obadiah and Nikki told me that I can't.
Like, who are they? Oh, they're my friends. They say no. I'm not going to do the 50 egg challenge or the whatever challenge.
So
hot this, great amounts of food that, not going to do it.
Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh, Nikki, do you know? Okay. A little more research here. Here's what I just found out. Joey Chestnut holds the
competitive guy?
The competitive eater that has won at the
Nathan's hot
dog thing so many times. He holds the record for eating the most hard-boiled eggs. He ate 141 hard-boiled eggs in 8 minutes.
No way. Okay, so
we don't know what killed the guy.
Yeah.
But it is technically possible, I suppose, for the right person to do it.
Who can do that?
I'm not doing it.
No
and you
way.
shouldn't either. You know what? You get 2 or 3. Ooh, you know what you do? You scramble the eggs, and then you fry up some kind of breakfast meat toast and make yourself a sandwich.
That's how you
plenty.
That's how you do. That's just fine.
You've had enough, all right?
Challenge done.
Challenge accepted. And man, if you're not lactose intolerant, I like to get a good slice of Kraft cheese, put it on top of that and let it melt.
Gourmet cheese.
Wow. Not only are you already awake, but you're listening to The Riot? Your day is off to a pretty rough start. The Riot on Radio U.
Nikki, how are you sleeping?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
I'm going to say pretty good.
When's the last time you had a good nightmare?
Actually, it's been a really long time. I was thinking about that the other day. I very rarely have any dreams. I get up a lot during the night.
Yeah.
I wish I could stay asleep, but I don't wake up from bad dreams.
Well, here's the great news. I've got some nightmare fuel to put in the tank.
You ready?
Yeah.
Let's see what happens tonight.
Okay. I've got a woman in March of last year who went running on a trail in California.
Yeah.
She's 68. Total fist bump that she's still out there running. A lot of people, by the time they've hit 68, they're like, I just watch TV. She's like,
The Jeopardy.
I'm getting it. So she's out there running.
Good.
And it seems like everything's fine. But after a day or two after a run, like one of her eyes is just really irritated. She keeps rubbing her eyes and rubbing her eye. And then pretty soon she goes to the doctor like, what the heck is going on? And he's like, oh, it's cool.
Did you get bit by something?
Oh, gosh. You know what? No. I thought this was just when she went to see the doctor. While she was at home, she was able to pull 2 worms out of her eye.
Oh, gosh, it hurts.
Each of the worms was about half an inch long.
How do you get a worm in your eye?
She ran, jogged through a swarm of flies.
Stop it. Right there.
How's the tank?
I forgot that's where worms come.
Look at the.
Oh, it hurts.
Look at the gauge.
No.
Are we half full?
No.
3/4 of a tank?
I don't want to go outside.
How much more nightmare fuel do you need?
My eye's irritated.
I know. I thought that too.
I rub my eyes.
I think it's dog allergies in the studio from all you dog hair people, but what if I got worms in my eyes?
This makes you want to worry about that.
Yeah. So why don't you just...
Is it better that your eye's there, or should it be gone, or
I'm just going to let you know. I want to let you know.
Did they save the eye?
Yeah, her eyes, it's fine. So she pulled 2 worms out.
One does not just do that. Stop saying that.
Then she went to a doctor who retrieved the 3rd worm.
I'm so tired. So tired.
And
oh, God.
So she lives in Nebraska, but she spends her winters in California.
That's nice. That's nice. See where that got you.
They sent the third worm for testing, where they discovered that it's a Thalassia gulosa
from the fly,
which they usually find in Asia, Europe, North America, and Australia, and this is only the second time in recorded history that a human has been infected.
How special, to be a part of something like that.
Cows get it all the time.
Oh,
but
gosh.
as a person,
no, it's not often.
I mean, it's an honor, really,
dude,
just to be selected.
Be like your eye's like a cow's eye. It's worse too. I would hate to hear that. Just as bad as having the worms. The only other thing to get it is a cow. It's like you're calling me a cow. It just got even worse.
Like, shut up! I'm out running, and you're telling me I'm a cow, and I've got worms in my eyes.
I have cow worms. Oh, it's awful.
I'll tell you what,
lady.
that's enough to make me want to winter in Nebraska. Because you know what? That's what the hard freeze is for.
Yeah, it's supposed to kill all that
stuff
off. Or should you run in goggles? Is there something to that? Like an athletic goggle, like the basketball ones?
Absolutely. You
should totally. You won't get stared. Well, if you tell people what happened to you, I think you should maybe be fine with wearing a goggle.
Yeah, I would never notice the person running in goggles on the trail.
Or like sunglasses. Okay, sunglasses will work.
Okay.
That just wrap all the way around and are airtight.
Hermetically sealed.
Yes. Got to protect those eyes.
The worst of the riot is over, but the fun can keep going.
Hey, I saw you checking out my goods.
Check the Riot blog or stalk us on social media.
You want to sample them? A little try before you buy, huh?
Through riot.radiou.com.
I know what you're doing.
What?
That's not about football. That's about the bathroom.